Any motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I'd like to see if we could add Ms. Kathy Dennis and the Wexford County Sheriff specifically to item 1, give them both an opportunity to speak there.
Madam Clerk, can we add items to a special meeting agenda?
As long as they're on the topic that we're talking about. We can't add other things to the agenda that's not posted.
Would you like a motion to add Kathy Dennis?
And the Wexford County Sheriff's Department?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Amended agenda is approved. Brings us down to public comment. Now, before I start public comment, I got to say I've been here 10 years, and this is probably 5 times as many people as I've ever seen show up for any issue. Because of the time constraint, well, not the time constraint, the crowdedness of the building, does anyone here have a designated spokesman?
Yes.
Because if we do, we allow a spokesman more time. But if you're representing the group, once your spokesman's done, then we don't want any more individuals coming up because of the time constraint. So, how many spokesmen do we have designated?
Please raise your hand.
And how many people are they speaking for?
Okay.
So you have about 5. So, if you have 5 designated spokesmen, I would like to limit each one to approximately 5 minutes of time to address the board. And in lieu of all the people we have here, so does the board have any problems with that?
No, sir.
So, at this time then, we will open public comment, and if you could adhere to the time as closely as possible. I will have somebody keeping time because we got a lot of people here to go through. So, whoever would like to be first, please step to the podium, state your name and address to the board.
Not me.
After you are on the agenda, you are not public comment. Someone else, please.
Rachel?
Yeah, name and address and what you got.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Rachel Shook, Cadillac, Michigan.
Thank you.
My name is Rachel, and I was a trustee at the Wexford County Shelter from June until September of this summer. Over that period of time, I witnessed about 100 animals being euthanized by heart sticking. Of those 100 animals, I only seen 2 ever sedated. One being a pit bull mix, and one being a blue heeler. Of these euthanizing of the animals, one that really sticks in my head was a beagle that was drugged from its cage on a rabies pole into the room that it was so terrified it was defecating along the way. The whole way screaming out that it started to rile up all the other dogs. The ACO shoved the beagle's head under the deep freezer where all the other animals that have been euthanized were put, stuck the boot on the back of it, and administered a shot to the heart. It didn't die so quickly. I believe, in my own opinion, lungs were punctured. This ACO had me leave the room only to come back with another dog to see that it was, see the beagle was on the floor flailing around and had not died yet. I also have witnessed dogs not being put on the 4 to 7 day hold that were immediately euthanized. One was a pit bull, was black, and the family had called 4 days later, and she returned the phone call and stated that the pit bull had never been in the shelter, and that she would keep a lookout for it after the family members claimed that was going to. What I'm saying is true, and I did not know until all this came out that heart sticking was not what you were supposed to be doing without sedation. And I did notice on the beagle that it did suffer, but these dogs and cats do not need to be put down this way. It just wasn't humane. And the treatment that was going on there at the shelter, it's just not logical.
Thank you. Next.
I'm Donna Weaver. I live in Cadillac, Michigan. And back in October 10th of 2012, I had contacted Wexford Animal Control as well as the Sheriff's Department regarding a small dog at the north end of town and the manager of the Citizens Bank there. On several occasions I worked with the animal control. I had no idea who that person was at the time other than her name was Michelle. Worked several times with her trying to get this dog captured and under control and looking at adoption proceedings. October 16th, I was at a meeting down in Saginaw and was texting back and forth with an associate on the whereabouts and what was going on with this small Manchester. She'll refer to it as a Manchester. So the morning of the 17th, about 8:30, approximately 8:30 that morning, I contacted Michelle at the animal shelter, and she told me that she had in fact captured the dog, that a rescue group, a Manchester rescue group, which I would never know what that was, Manchester rescue group came in from Lansing the night before, about 8:30. She made a special trip in. I said, boy, you know, your gifts will be in heaven, because that means a lot to me that you come in like that. And she picked up the dog, and she'll rehab the dog. And I said, so when might he be available for adoption? And she kind of stuttered for a minute and said, oh, well, she'll just keep that dog. That's what she does. So I hung up the phone, and I went about my life until approximately a week and a half ago when I was told that this dog was in fact killed. This dog did have a collar on. She knows this dog had a collar on. So at any rate, we have 4 to 7 days through the SDA, and my partner over here, Kathy, will tell you and affirm that this dog was terminated. Michelle has not told me that as of yet, but that is one thread of lies that I believe is a bigger thread, and I believe that my story needs to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Sluter, and I live in Cadillac also. First, I want to thank you guys so much for your quick response. Obviously, you heard the calls of the community and the concern, and I appreciate that you're willing to take the time to set up a special meeting and listen to us. I'm here not because I've witnessed anything or because I have a specific story, but I'm here as a concerned citizen and a concerned taxpayer too, of course. Unfortunately, some trust seems to have whittled away when it comes to the shelter and the animal control. And I certainly don't come across this lightheartedly. In light of the allegations against the Wexford County Animal Shelter, and out of concern for the safety and well-being of the shelter animals, a group of us have gotten together and come up with some requests that we are asking specifically of the board. First, we ask that there be an immediate investigation initiated, specific areas of concern, and I'm happy to provide you a copy of this if that would help, but specific areas of concern that we would like to look into are inhumane practices when it comes to euthanization. Second area of concern is inadequate qualifications for licensing of those staff determining the appropriateness for euthanization and in actually administering the euthanization. Third point is inadequacy of current veterinary coordination and involvement in the handling of the animal. Next one is disregard for mandated hold times. And the final concern in this first point is concerns with maintenance of records. Many of these areas of concern are outlined in the State of Michigan's Department of Agriculture Rural Development Regulation 151. So certainly, you know, we're not throwing accusations out of not having done some homework. Our next request that we submit to the board is alternate supervision and operations of the animal shelter to begin immediately during the course of this investigation. And finally, within 2 weeks, that there be a change in the operation and funding of the animal shelter and animal control, shifting from the sheriff's department to an independent entity that can ensure the appropriate care of the animals. In some communities, the health department serves as this independent entity, so that may be a first place that we would suggest that you consider. I beg that you guys not dismiss this as irrational worries of hope victims. I'm not a hope victim, I'm a taxpayer. And I take offense to that, but I ask for your fair attention to our concerns. If what we're accusing or believing is wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. I'm not here to create any problems, but rather I am a concerned citizen and I am asking for your due attention to the matter. I have confidence that with your assistance and your attention and the blooming support, obviously, from the community, that there is opportunity for improvement to our shelter and to the animal control department. I do believe that good will come of this, and I thank you guys so much for your time.
Did you give that to Next person?
My name is Tammy Cosgray. I live at 114 First Street in Milton. On August 1st, 2010, my son's dog, a 4-year-old Great Dane named Cole, was shot and killed by Wexford County Animal Control Officer Dennis Rogers. Cole was a healthy, well-cared-for, loved dog who had a family who was desperate to find him after he was accidentally let out. Cole was wearing a green John Deere collar with tags identifying his owner, yet he was shot and killed by a man who decided that day to end his life alongside of the road. My son was notified that Cole had been found by Officer Rogers after he had already been killed. Officer Rogers told my son that he did everything he could, but Cole was in shoot at him to be safe. I then called Officer Rogers as I wanted Cole's body so we could have it cremated. Upon pressing Officer Rogers as to what exactly happened with Cole after he was found, he said, "I put him down with a fatal bullet to his head." Rogers said that when he approached Cole, he got up and staggered, and he was afraid that he would get back into the woods. So instead of using the department-issued noose or tranquilizer Cole, Officer Rogers used his gun, ending any chance of survival Cole had. Rogers informed me that he had thrown Cole's body in the Wexford County landfill. He eventually agreed to go get the body, and I told him I would meet him there. Though I did not understand this, he told me I could not meet him at the landfill, but he would bring the body to my home, which he did do. On August 3rd, I made contact with the officer's supervisor, Lieutenant Dennison, to report what had been done to Cole. He said he had no knowledge of the incident as no report had been filed by the officer. After a week had passed, I had not heard back from the lieutenant. I called him to see if he had finished his investigation. He informed me that according to department policy, animal control officers are authorized to use their judgment to determine if an animal can be saved or not. It was the officer's opinion that Cole would not make it to the end of the day. I asked Lieutenant Dennison if animal control officers receive training in veterinary medicine, and he said no. When I said I thought the officer should have tried to use tranquilizer instead of shooting him, Lieutenant Dennison stated that Cole would not have survived being tranquilized, which was pure speculation on his part. He never laid eyes on Cole. On September 7th, 2010, I sent Sheriff Finster a letter asking him to change the policy at Wexford County Animal Control, said that only a licensed veterinarian would have the authority to make life and death decisions. To this day, I have not received any type of response from him, but according to a report done by 7 News about Cole, the sheriff's office was quoted as saying, "Changing the policy would cost the county too much money, and they do not plan on changing it." Shortly after the 7-4 story on Cole, I received a call from a man who said, although he was not present when Officer Rogers killed Cole, He had information which led him to believe that Cole was up and moving when the officer fired his gun, and then he actually missed him and had to fire a second time before he was hit. He also said Cole was not shot in the head, as I was told by Officer Rogers, and that he was left laying along the side of the road. Cole deserved better treatment than he got from Wexford County Animal Control. He was a loved member of the family who was lost, scared, and in need of medical attention. What he got instead was a bullet in his head.
Thank you. Are there any more questions?
Good evening. My name is Chris Courtland, and since about 20 years I've been volunteering for the Wonderland Humane Society here in Cadillac. On the board of directors. I'm currently their treasurer since 2000, and I handle correspondence. In 2001, I was hired as the Wexford County shelter attendant in October of 2001, and I was dismissed from my job abruptly in November of 2011. So I worked there for 10 years, 1 month, 8 days, and 2 hours. Like Kathy Dennis, I am a disgruntled employee, but I do want to make it perfectly clear that in the 10 years that I was at the animal shelter, I thought the animals got fabulous treatment. They had our respect. We did everything to make them comfortable, and most of them were quite happy. And I assisted with hundreds of euthanasias over the 10 years. And I just always felt that it was very humane. Stick in the rear for a little sedation, and either the IC injection, which is a medical term for the heart stick, which I hate that term, or an IV injection of the sodium pentobarbital. Damage has been done. I have the greatest respect and honestly love for our animal control officers and the very hard job that they have to do. And when they aren't getting grief from the media, they're getting grief from irritated citizens of Wexford County because things aren't going their way. But it's in print. This article put out by Pet Friends makes Miss Dennis sound like she was sent from heaven, and the animal control officers and attendants at the shelter are monsters of some sort who enjoy killing animals and making them suffer. Our animal control officers are pet lovers. Everybody there has a dog and has a great affection for animals. Cats aren't quite as easy to please because they don't adjust to the new location, but the dogs, for the most part, were happy. And I felt when euthanasia day was looming because of the overcrowding situation, I thought it was handled very humanely. I couldn't have stayed there 10 years as an animal lover if I didn't think so. But this damage is done already. It's in the media. It's in here. I don't believe Miss Dennis was ever forced to do anything at all on her first day at work, which she claimed she was forced to actually euthanize an animal with an IC injection. I don't believe that. Nobody